Reality of it is that nobody wants to fucking marry the town bike where everybody gets a ride. Nobody wants to wife that. So here you are, aging.
All right, Marty. So, fourth statement: a woman taking accountability for her past actions and trying to portray herself as a reformed hoe is not going to make her be seen in a better light in the eyes of most men, and damn sure not a wife. True or false?
Hell no. Nobody looks at hoes as wives except for simps and losers. Women have to marry down in the extreme. And that's why when you see these girls who are porn stars and shit, they aren't even married to other male porn stars. They're married to dudes that worked in a production crew and were cameramen and shit like that. In the background, you see some of these women that are porn stars, and some of them are absolutely gorgeous. And then you look at their husband, and there's some dude that ain't even rich, that looks like, dog shit with a ponytail and a neck beard. And the reason why is because now that it's time for companionship, the most that they qualify for is that out of men. But they don't marry rich men. They don't retire to lavish lifestyles or any of that shit. So no, men do not want to. Men who want wives, men who want a family, men who want to have authority in their household and to have children with a woman that they're going to protect and provide for a lifetime. And high earning men who have worked hard so that they can have something and be something and offer something. Men who have character, who believe in loyalty, right? Those men want women who have virtue. They don't want hoes. Men of character want women who have virtue. And ladies, you can have whatever type of philosophical, intellectual debate you want about how fucking a whole bunch of dudes and riding a cock carousel for a decade or 15 years through your 20s to the age of 35 doesn't lower your value to men and all of that shit. You can sit up and pontificate on that until you're fucking blue in the face. At the end of the day, men who want wives find hoes repulsive for wife position. And guess what? We'll still have sex with you. Men will still have sex with you. Men will put their penis in warm mud. So the fact that a guy is still going to have sex with you means absolutely nothing. And so no, just because you've healed, or just because you cleansed yourself, or freaking saged your yoni, or whatever the hell you did, that nobody fucking cares. If you let a whole bunch of guys jump up and down on you, nobody's gonna want you for a wife except for a handful of dudes. And guess what? None of those dudes will be men you respect.
Right.
None of those dudes will be the type of man that you respect. Your ass is gonna settle big time if you can get a husband at all.
And Marty, so my friend was on here earlier, and she was like, Noble, well, you know, people's mindsets and people's mentalities are supposed to change, like, through their life experiences. So she may have been doing what she's doing before, but now that she is, because what I said, Marty, is I said, listen, for those, I'm a young man, Marty's a man. Men see through what Brittany was trying to do, on this lady's platform. Okay. Brittany, throughout, all throughout her 20s, she has made her name. She has came up by dealing with these high profile men. Brittany is someone that has made a lot of videos, like, just sitting in a car, just saying just wild stuff, and women all in the comments clapping and saying yes, this, that, and the third. Like, her whole thing was coming up off of these men. But like I said, this is an average everyday girl from Mississippi. So when you everything was good until you did become a single mother. So now Brittany is seeing herself in the same light as all these other women that at one point in time she probably saw herself on a higher level than. She probably thought like she was better than them, but she when she's been doing all these things she's been doing, becoming a single mother was not a part of the plan. So, all the stuff that you used to preach before, you can't preach that stuff now. You're not preaching that stuff. You were cool being perceived how you were perceived. You were cool with the narrative that surrounded you because you were benefiting from it. You were coming up off of it. But now what you're trying to do is you're trying to change your perception, and you're trying to change the narrative around yourself hoping that, men will see you in a different light and men will see you in a better light. Because let me tell you guys something. Someone like her who's been with all these high profile men, she's not about to go deal with a man that's making like 70 or $80,000 a year now. She's not about to
Nope.
just she's not about to go deal with just an average man that you and I don't know from a can of paint. So what I have to do is I have to try to like come across, I have to try to make, the entertainers and the athletes that I haven't been with that don't know me on a personal level, but they know about me. I have to try to make it seem like I'm not this person that I've not only been perceived, but I've contributed to the narrative of myself, all throughout my 20s. And it's not going to work like that, ladies. Like,
Bro, let me tell you something. She gonna be
one,
just like Lisa Ray and Vivica Fox
one
and
second,
all them
Marty.
other
Listen,
chicks
one second, Marty.
that
Listen,
ain't got no man.
ladies, if you want to be a hoe, just know it's the same. It's the same thing. It's equivalent to being a felon. Okay, you could have caught your felony at 17 years old, and you went and did your little 7 8 years, and you getting out at 25 years old now, and you're like, well, I'm 25. I'm not 17 anymore. I don't have the same mentality. I don't have the same mindset that I used to have. I wouldn't do that again. But guess what? Corporate America is not trying to hear that. Okay, you're not going to be able to apply to Wells Fargo. You're not going to be able to apply to US Bank. You're a lot of times you might not even be able to apply to McDonald's. You might not even be able to get a cashier position at CVS or Walgreens. We live in a society. I always listen. Today is a reflection of yesterday, and the future is a reflection of what you do today. We live in a society where your past is going to be held against you. Okay, and for women, y'all, we're not the same. Women and men, we're not the same, and when it comes to what we're talking about, we're not the same. You cannot spread yourself thin, and then when you don't want to be that way anymore, you want to like put yourself out there as somebody that all throughout all these years you were never this person, but now you want to put yourself out there to be this whole new person, and you think men are going to accept it.
And
And
nobody
be
cares.
like, no,
Nobody cares. I'm gonna tell you something. Like the same way that before somebody lends you money, they look at your credit report. The same way before somebody give you a job, they look at your job history. Before men hire you for the job of wife, they look at your past performance, the relationships you've had, and the men that you fucked. And we know y'all ain't gonna tell the truth anyways, right? Women don't count men that they didn't like or count men that they had sex with out of state. They got a whole bunch of bullshit that they've come up with to justify being liars. So you a hoe and a liar, right? And that's fine. And that's why I tell men, what you ask a woman, you don't ask a woman her body count. You ask her, does body count matter? And then she's gonna say nope. And then you deal with her accordingly. You go ahead and put her in the sex only or in the avoid box. And you should put her in the avoid box, or else you can end up like PJ Washington, because now he has to pay her $200,000 a year in alimony, right? And this woman ain't rich. Her net worth is less than $1 million. $1 million net worth ain't shit. A million, it sounds like a lot, but it ain't. You can have $1 million net worth by owning a house in two rentals and having a 401k that you've been contributing to for 15 years. There's a lot of people that you drive by that's riding around in Ford Tauruses and Ford Fusions who have $1 million net worth when you look at them owning a couple of houses and being on the same job for 15 years working blue collar. So she is not rich, and she's making $200,000 a year because she got pregnant on a boy who was too young to understand what type of fucking snake he was dealing with. And she did that shit on purpose. She didn't do that by accident. Y'all don't have babies by accident. Let me tell you something. The ultimate expression of hypergamy is abortion. A woman getting pregnant by your child and killing it in the womb. So if she didn't want a baby from that man, she knew what she was going to be getting, and she knew that they weren't getting married. She was six years that boy's senior. He didn't know his
correct.
elbow. He didn't know his asshole from a hole in the ground. She knew exactly what she was doing,
You prayed
and
on
she
me.
had a baby for him. And this is where you sit up and you had these women who talk about being single mothers and, oh, I only get $200 or $400 in child support, and y'all act like men and women is doing this to try to get child support, all of y'all, and blah 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 blah. Listen, listen, y'all know what y'all doing. You know who you're dealing with. You choose who you have babies for, right? The stats pertaining to abortion is most women. There's something crazy like freaking 70% of women who have had abortions, if they've had one, 70% of them have had three. So it's this concept that y'all ain't out, that a lot of women, not all women, because there's great women like Miss Cheryl and Learning Tarot and a whole bunch of women that I've met and seen on this app. There's lots of incredible women. But if you want to pretend like the majority of women right now are not out here playing it fast and loose, pepper spraying their wombs with freaking Plan B and fucking and sucking whoever it is that they want because it's their body, their choice. If y'all want to act like that's not how it's rolling, nobody is buying it and nobody is wifing. Men who have their shit together have not worked to create stability and security over a period of time. That's what it takes. You got to work hard for like a couple of years and then you put your life together and then you have to sustain that stability for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years as a man. And men didn't do all of that fucking work so they can turn around and take a chance on somebody that's done let 50 women, 50 men jump up and down on them. They're not doing that. Smart men aren't doing that. Men who know their worth aren't doing that. And so, you ladies, if you want a man who has some value, has his shit together, wants a family, and actually is going to do the work to administer that family, then guess what? What you owe is your past. Your sacrifice isn't your future. Your sacrifice is your past. Women want men. Women want men with a future. If you knew a motherfucker was going to be broke and wasn't going to work and didn't want shit out of life, you wouldn't want him. You wouldn't want to marry him. So if you want a man who's going to do something with his life, then that man wants a woman who has saved herself for him. She wants a man, he wants a woman without a past. If you want a man with a future. And here's the problem you ladies have. You confuse the sexual attention you get for genuine interest in relationship. So you think you have more options for a relationship with men than you actually do, because men will say anything to sleep with you. But if you tested these men that are sitting up chasing you around, that you wanted one of them to give you a ring, you would find out that you ain't got nothing but a whole bunch of dogs wanting to bury their bone in your backyard. You ain't got shit but some hot dick and some bullshit lines and some vibe and some dinner coming, some dates, which is trading food for sex. A lot of y'all out here fucking for doggy bags and you haven't caught on to it yet because somebody's willing to fly you out to do it or sit on the phone and talk a whole bunch of shit to you. And you don't have fathers who are telling you that you are being played and you think you're winning, but ultimately you lose because at the end of the day, at some point, you are going to want a family. You are going to, if you don't want a family, fine. If it don't apply, let it fly. If you just want to be out here hoeing till you're 40, 50 years old, sitting up, fucking whoever you want, that's your business. But if you are a woman who wants a family at some point, and nobody's telling you this because they cancel men who speak like this to you, I got account warnings all over my page because I'm trying to tell you the fucking truth. And you have women who disagree with the basic tenets of reality. And they're like, you know what? Well, there's some man who's going to want you because you're confused about possibility versus probability. Just because some shit is possible don't mean it's likely. It's possible you could hit the fucking lotto. It's possible a meteor could smash your fucking house tomorrow. All of that shit is possible, but it's incredibly improbable. And if you're making the most important decisions that pertain to your life based off of what is fucking possible and not what is probable, not what is based off of your decision, not what outcomes do your decisions most often yield, not what is highly probable, then when you fuck your life up, it's your fault. But most of you are in a society where you get to blame men for everything. And that's what you heard Brittany doing. Oh, I let these men use me. Bitch, you ain't let nobody use you. You was hoeing. You was hoeing. You had a good time. You got a whole bunch of free shit. You had a whole bunch of great experiences, and you traded your body to do it. You was hoeing. Nobody used you. You used everybody, and you use your little hot pocket to get it, and that's your choice. But now you don't get to. The thing y'all ladies don't understand is you don't get to move back and cross the line of hoe and housewife.
Right.
That's why there's that saying you can't change a hoe into a housewife. If you've been hoeing, then men aren't going to let you cross back over to the wife side. You self sort, ladies. You get to self sort, and if you choose to be a hoe, then that's the character you get to play for the rest of the game.
Facts.